Good morning. I want to welcome everybody here in the room, welcome everybody on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. We're going to get started right off the bat with our first two community songs. Here we go.
I'm going to put my glasses on so I can see you. Oh, you're looking good.
Good morning again. I want to welcome everybody who's joined us while we were singing. My name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am honored and privileged to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. And one of the things I get to do every Sunday morning is remind us of who we are and share with any guests that might be joining us for the first time who we are and what we're up to. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate acts of compassion to ourselves, each other, and the world. We experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures, and we intentionally promote our community and these teachings. And one of the things that we do every Sunday morning to give action to our commitment to inclusion is our inclusion candle lighting ritual. So I'm going to ask one of our members, Mary Lou Knapp, to join me and light our candles. Didn't know that was kind of. There you go. And we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, all life. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the teachings of Jesus as the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought teachings, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles of love and law. We light the 10th candle for absolute inclusivity, affirming that all are welcome and celebrated here. And we light this final candle, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. I'm going to turn it back over to musicians. Next community song. Thank you. So this is our time of announcements. I'm going to breeze through them pretty quickly because we got a lot going on this morning. We're open. We have our bead system. If you care to join us, and I will share this little caveat. Someone shared with me a couple Sundays ago that they thought they were getting enough watching from home, and they didn't realize until they actually came back how much they were missing by not being here in person. And so I'll just share that with you. Not to let what you're doing bad, just to give you something to think about. So we do have our system. If you're here and you want folks to continue to be distanced from you, you can wear a red strand of beads that communicates that. If you're not sure, you're figuring it out one person at a time, you can wear a yellow strand of beads that communicates, please check in with me before you get too close or you touch me. And if you're okay with people being in close physical proximity, handshakes, hugs, what have you, you can wear green strand beads and it communicates that. If you want to establish a comfort zone around you, you can pick up, please do not sit on this seat, one for either side of you, and you can plop those in the chairs next to you, and that communicates that. So, walking with the Rev. Most Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, and Fridays, and I say most because this past week, 2 of those days got circumvented by congregational needs, and people will always come first. And so if somebody reaches out by phone and they need to meet with me during that time, I'll do my best. The only way I know to quickly communicate it is on Facebook, and so I put a notice there that I won't be there, and this is why. But we meet up at the parking lot there at the North Star Mining Museum, and we walk for half an hour one direction, and then we walk half an hour back the other direction. And it's really quite lovely, and we just engage in connection and conversation and celebrate life and what's up with each of us. So I invite you to join in on that. We've got some crossword puzzles. If you're looking for a fun way to learn science of mind in the privacy of your own home, we have 45 crossword puzzles based on the glossary of the science of mind, a philosophy of faith, a way of life, which really functions as a synopsis of what's in the whole book. It's an expanded glossary. And so you visit our website, or you visit our store, and those out individually, by the out collection, by the random collection, or you can buy the whole chow. And they're very reasonably priced, so I invite you to check those out. First Friday Fun, June 3rd, our very own Jeff Wright will be doing our First Friday Fun. We have shifted the time, so I'm going to bring that to your attention. It's 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. I will not be here that Friday because that is our wedding anniversary, and I will be like a smart man tending to that. Because I've been working on my real keen sense for the obvious. But I encourage you to show up, check it out. We are asking for a $10 to $20 suggested donation, but please understand absolutely no one will be turned away for lack of funds. So please join us. We've got snacks for sale, we've got sparkling water for sale, and it is exactly what it's designed to do, create community and connection and have fun. So unless you're fun averse, come on out. This coming Saturday, we will be in Napa celebrating the graduation of Reverend Julia Robles Scott from Ministerial School. They're actually graduating 3 classes because COVID kind of got in the way of folks' graduation. So we're going to be graduating 3 classes in Napa. It's at 2 o'clock. I encourage you to join us if you're so inclined. And for sure, the following day, Sunday, May 22nd, our Sunday morning service is going to be quite different than it normally is. We will some of the elements. The whole service is going to be dedicated to installing Julia as one of new staff ministers. And you'll learn more about what that means when you come. It's a really sweet thing to get to do. Reverend Julia kind of grew up in this center, and many of you watched her from becoming a member to becoming a practitioner to now becoming a minister. And so we're going to celebrate that. She will be giving us our Sunday talk that day, and then afterwards we're going to hang out with a potluck. It'll be our first first potluck since we shut everything down in 2020. And so I really encourage you to come. We are asking that you bring food items, not dessert items, because the center is handling the dessert part of it. So please bring a covered dish and show up. Sunday, this coming Sunday. Yeah, week from today. It's going to be awesome. Okay, that is it for our announcements. So let's take a breath, because I'm also your practitioner this morning. We're going to shift into our time of inward shift. And our community value this morning is gratitude. And it's sometimes really challenging to be grateful in the midst of chaotic human conditions. It can be really challenging. And so this morning, I want to invite you to consider that the most accurate gratitude, the deepest gratitude, is a gratitude of knowing what exists beyond what we see. Being grateful for infinite possibility. Being grateful that, that place where we understand electricity is always available. It become available when we switch. It was always there. It was there before we actually found it and figured out how to navigate it to a switch. And so I invite you this morning in our meditation into a place of what aren't you seeing yet in form and experience that you're willing to be grateful for, that you're willing to know that it already exists, that it's already fully present, and you are willing to live in that level of gratitude before you see the results of it. And so we're going to sing our bridge song into the meditation, and then I will bring us out of the meditation with our opening treatment.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for one like me. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for one like me. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, sweet Spirit, is in this very room.
So I invite you with this next breath to go deeper, deeper into that place where we recognize, where we recognize, where we know again the truth of oneness. That there is only one power, one presence, one intelligence, one life, one love. That it is continuously, without interruption, expressing itself in the form of creation. That it is simultaneously the substance, the source, and the activity of all creation. Creating out of itself, by itself, to experience itself, to expand itself. So I know that in the truth of oneness, I must be that in form. That each one of us is an individualized, purposeful expression, this divine oneness. Being made out of it, we must be fully infused with all that it is. Nothing missing. So when I speak the words whole, perfect, and complete, I'm speaking to which we are made up of, that is fully present in our very makeup, the very essence of what we are. And so I speak my word this morning, recognizing that it is the word of the infinite speaking itself into being. That this Sunday morning is a time of the infinite revealing itself to itself in a greater way. That it is that time where we go deeper inward in order to go higher in consciousness. That everything that needs to be said is said, and everything that needs to be heard is heard, and that each individualized expression of the one is here this morning by divine appointment, whether we're here online or in the room, to get exactly what we came here to get. And so I speak a word of gratitude, knowing that that has already happened. That everything that is happening this morning is already ordained by the very authority that creates it. And so I can trust that. I can let that be. I can let go of all of my human thoughts and simply rest in the gratitude that it's already done perfectly. I invite you to join me as we anchor this together by saying, and so it is. So I will read our affirmation once and invite you to just listen and take it in, and then we will read it together. I am happy to be alive, living a joyful life. Let's say that together. I am happy to be alive, living a full life. And so it is.
And another way to say that is, we're grooving. We're grooving. We're going to get back in the Wayback Machine. happy people we could be, just grooving on a Sunday afternoon. Reading, couldn't get away too soon. Keep on spending sunny days this way. We're gonna talk and laugh our time away. I feel it coming closer day by day. Life will be ecstasy, you and me endlessly ruling on a Sunday afternoon. Couldn't get away too soon. Oh, no, 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 no.
Let's take a breath together. We got a lot going on this morning. Our talk title for this morning is If You're Happy and You Know It. And sometimes we misunderstand the difference between happiness and joy. So this whole month we're looking at emotions and talking about the difference between emotion and feelings. That emotions literally emote, move. Emotions are simply a visceral recognition of a movement of energy, which we are. And so when something shifts in our energy, we notice that as emotion. It's the story we fill in after that that creates feelings. If you need an acronym, TFUA. Thoughts create feelings, feelings create urges, urges create actions. Emotions create none of that. Emotions are simply the presence of energy moving in energy. That's all it is. And emotions finish like that. The biology of emotions, it's seconds. But feelings, oh my goodness, they last a very, very long time. But interestingly enough, they only last as long as we're telling ourselves the story about the emotion that we felt. So we're in control of our feelings. But many of us forget that in those moments. So I'm going to start with a quote from Eckhart Tolle. As soon as you honor the present moment, all unhappiness and struggle dissolve, and life begins to flow with joy and ease. That's easy for you to say, Eckhart. And I had an experience this week that tested that and proved that. So for morning, I'm minding my own, sitting in the parking lot, getting ready to do my walk. and a text message from the owner of the home I rent. Give me a call when you get a second. Well, I was there early, so I had a second. So I called, only to find out that I have to move. Now, in that moment, I had an emotion. Okay? I had an emotion of shock, of surprise. It didn't come with a narrative. It came with a, that's all that the emotion brought. And wouldn't it be lovely if it just stopped there? But it did not. It went straight to catastrophe. The human part of me went running down the road of, oh my God, like a scalded dog. For those of you not from the South, that means in a big hurry. And I was writing all kinds of narratives that, there's no places to rent, but I love it here. Oh God, Deborah's working a double, and so after she comes home after working 16 hours, now I get to drop this bomb on her. Thank you very much. Who said Friday the 13th wasn't real? Did you even look at the calendar before you called me? Holy, wait, I called her. Wait a minute. Right. Like one of those tops that you just pull the string and watch it spin. And I was spinning and not moving a muscle. It's amazing how quickly we can spin in paralysis. It's even possible. I haven't moved a muscle. I've gone a tremendous journey all over the place. Right? So the decency of this human being that I rent from, she had already given me an option of another place to live that is very similar to where we live now. But the history part of me didn't even hear that initially because I'm busy running the oh my God narrative, right? And then there's the, I am so not ready to move. There's all this stuff. Well, it's your stuff. I don't care. I don't want to move it. Blah, 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 back and forth, right? And so the first thing I did when I got a handle on myself was text one of my very dear friends in this movement and said, please pray now. This is what's happening, and this is what I'm doing, and it's not helpful, and I'm in no place to pray. So please pray that I can at least land so I can pray too. Okay. And then I said, well, let me run out here and take a look at this place. And I'm driving down this beautiful country road. It's beautiful. And I'm going, this ain't so bad. It's less than 2 miles out of town. It's beautiful. And then I went around a curve. And there's an American flag. And there's a Trump poster, the size of this room it looked like at the time. And then there's a sign on a fence that said, Republican against communism. And I went running down another road. As if that human being doesn't have the right to express their beliefs. They do. And their beliefs have got anything to do with me. It's their property. It's their sign. It's their right. But it's my narrative. Right? And I wrote all kinds of stories about that individual who I've never met. I couldn't tell you who they even are. But everything inside of me was certain I knew who they were. And it wasn't pretty. Right? And by the time I got another quarter of a mile, I was laughing at my own mentality going, isn't it funny how you want to believe what you want to believe, but you get all plexed up with somebody else believing what they believe? So which is it, dude? Either you're radically inclusive or you ain't. So I got over that. And it's a lovely little place. And, from everything I can see, it would be quite perfect. And I would love to tell you the narrative stopped there, but it didn't, because then there's the, let me look at our bank account narrative, right? And this money's budgeted for this, and so now I got to pay here, and then I got to pay here, and then I got to deposit here, but they nutsy bobo again. Right? Because if you notice, we never write a narrative where we're the hero. You ever notice that? When we write a narrative, we're the victim. We got to have a villain. And for most of us, a hero's not even available. We're just going to stay in that victimhood. So long story short, things start to unroll. Deborah actually got off 4 hours early, which had its own narrative because I was prepared for that extra 4 hours of preparing myself. And so I had to go to a little place of victimhood about, geez, I can't have all the time I need to prepare. So silly, the stuff that we read. In that process, I need a song. I need a song to help me anchor. And so I hopped onto YouTube and I put in, Welcome to the Mystery, because that's what I was feeling. Welcome to the Mystery. Now someday I may stop being surprised at how life responds when I open up. But I found that the first thing that came up was this song called Welcome to Mystery by the Plain White T's, who I'd never even heard of. Okay. I want to share with you some of the lyrics from this song. Imagine a place where you can always escape to an island off the coast of nowhere. Think about that. An island off the coast of nowhere. We're talking about the mystery. Right? If we know where it is, if we have a reference point, are we really in the mystery? Not really. It goes on, a new destination of your own creation. Who's in charge of my thoughts? Just waiting till you choose to go there. Oh, I have to choose this. I forgot that. And this is probably the most powerful part. This is a place where your mind can escape all the problems today and go far, far away. This is a place with no history. Welcome to mystery. Right? I was like, who knew I would find a whole new profound understanding for metaphysics and science of mind on YouTube? This is a time of no history. Welcome to history. The problem is try to find our happiness in the past, replicated in the future. Living in the mystery has no history. If we have a history, our happiness is based on repeating past experience. Our joy, on the other hand, is part of our makeup. Joy is the essence of our being. It has nothing to do with condition. It has nothing to do with where I live or who I rent from or how much I pay. Joy is ever present and available to me in every breath what is true of me is true of you. So this concept of joy, it's always there. Happiness is predicated in this human realm. And so if you're happy and you know it, well, perhaps while you may be enjoying it, you're living a limited version of joy. Because can you not know a thing and be joyful? Can everything that you think makes your life happy be ripped away in a moment and you still find an experience of joy? Because it's available, hasn't gone anywhere. Ernest Holmes says this: we should rediscover the youthful spirit of that childlike joy which gave to us the energy, happiness, security, and faith we had as children. Children are not happy-based stuff, just joyful. I don't know about kids. I'm pretty sure all of us in this room and around, we grew up being really joyful eating mud pies. Right? We ate dirt and enjoyed it. I mean, wrap your head around that. Right? Because we didn't have a narrative. We were living in the mystery. We were living in the curiosity of life. And we were allowing that inner joy to inform us. Several people have to move, right? Because there are multiple houses and they're reclaiming, because their life is changing. Right? So some of the things that have rolled out just in the past 48 hours. One person was already planning to give notice because they're moving to Portland. No big deal. Another person had already been given notice, and they were like, where am I going to go? And all of a sudden, they got a job offer to go live in a national park. See, we don't know. And if we're busy living in the oh crap narrative, we won't even see those opportunities. And so, now I'm on the teeter-totter because I'm still human, right? And so I'm embracing my human spin and pausing. What else is here? What else is here? Because either it's all God or it ain't. And it's only my narrative that says it ain't. So I want to wrap up with this story. There's a dog and a puppy. And the adult dog is watching the puppy. Little puppy. Chasing its tail. Just chasing its tail in this tiny circle. And the older dog is like, that makes me dizzy. What are you doing? And so he approached the puppy and he said, what are you doing? And the puppy said, hey, I have studied philosophy. Now I know I haven't been here very long, but I have studied philosophy. And what I have learned is that happiness is in the tail. And when I catch it, I will be happy. And the adult dog kind of sat back, gave it one of those. And he said to the puppy, happiness is not in your tail. And even if it is, what you haven't noticed is that your tail's always there. It's already attached to you. So this idea of chasing it doesn't make any sense. Because how can you catch something you already have? Perhaps, young pup, if you quit chasing it and own that it's already yours, you can just activate it. You can just wag it and experience it. Let's take this into prayer. And so again, I recognize the oneness of life, that happiness, joy, already fully present in my being. That everything I need, I already am. Because the divine itself, by whatever name call it, is in infinite possibility. Infinite possibility. And so I claim that, knowing that I am all that the divine is, so I must be a center of infinite possibility. Each of us in creative form, be it plant, mineral, fauna, doesn't matter what form we're in. Infinite possibility is fully present because we are created out of it. And so I know in the infinite possibility of life that all must be well. Must be well. And I allow my human thoughts to be informed by the joy that I am. I allow my human thoughts to be informed by the truth of oneness and wholeness. I allow myself to listen and to know and to be joyful before I see the evidence of joy. To live in the mystery with no history. Infinite possibility. I speak a word of gratitude. A word of gratitude for every messy moment this week that informed this talk this morning. Grateful for whatever that is within me that listens. It simply says yes. And so I reaffirm that yes, and I invite you to do the same. Will you join me in saying yes to infinite ability? Yes, living truly in mystery. A timeline where there is no history. Joyfully. As we say together. And so it is. Let's take another breath as we shift. We shift into our time of giving. Invite us to say our giving affirmation together. I give this gift with love and joy from a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Ushers, please receive this.
Thanks and praise.
So a word of gratitude. It's energy of the divine that we call money. Knowing that we live through our center for spirituality to do amazing work in the world, creating a world that truly works for all. And so it is. Okay. So, gratitudes. Thank you, musicians. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Juanita Wizard behind the curtain. Thank you. Thank you, Mary Lou, for being our greeter and our usher this morning. Thank you, Hillary, for our PowerPoint. Thank you, Jill and Carl, for our beautiful orchids. And thank each of you for being here and being there to make this a very different experience. And as we get ready to wrap up, I want to take a moment to speak to the African American community who has once again been traumatized by an obvious race motivated mass shooting. When a shooter shows up with racial slurs on his weapon, hurling racial slurs after he drives over 200 miles to go to a predominantly black neighborhood and randomly shoot innocent people, there's no denying that this is racially motivated. I want to be really clear. We teach wholeness. There is no cell in this body that is unnecessary. You have people in your life are of the African diaspora. You might want to pick the phone and call them just to check. Just to say, I'm here. You don't need to say anything about what happened. We need to listen. Because the reason this stuff continues is because people that look like me aren't listening. And that's the thing we can offer. We can reach out and check on the people that we love and listen. Listen to their experience and believe their experience. Because I assure you, while I do not live with black skin, people with black skin are traumatized every time this happens. And I will never even pretend to understand their experience. As a transgender man, I can fly under the radar anytime I choose. No one will know. My wife, my beloved friend Tracy Brown, my beloved friend here, Jamal, they don't ever get to take their skin off. They don't ever get a day off from this stuff. And it's important that we have the courage to recognize that we do and to reach out and be a soft, loving, open space for people to vent whatever they need to say without challenging it, without trying to fix anybody, to do exactly what creation does for each of us, to love unconditionally. Because never once, no matter how we go to prayer, never once have us ever been interrupted by was listening to our prayer and told, yeah, it's not exactly what we're praying for. We've been interrupted. So I invite you to reach out, people, and be the presence of God that you came here to be. That's what's available to us. Let's stand and do our benediction. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It is this thing called life. It is this thing called inclusion. It is this thing called wholeness. I know it. I feel it. I sense it. Because I am it. And so it is. Let there be peace. Let it begin with you.
Yes.